10 signs she's dying for you. Stoicism, modern stoic. Love is composed of a single soul inhabiting two bodies. Logos, Aristotle. When a woman is truly yearning for you, it's not about what she says, but how she behaves. It's a quiet intensity, a tension that speaks louder than words ever could. The desire she feels doesn't show in simple gestures or casual conversations. It's found in the subtle ways she withdraws, the moments she holds back, and the quiet longing that fills the air between you. Women who are deeply drawn to a man often wear their affection in their actions rather than their words. There's a certain energy, a shift in how they move around you. They become more watchful, more guarded with their emotions, as if they're protecting something valuable. And that's the truth. They are. They won't always tell you, but you'll feel it. The longer the eye contact, the softer the smile, and the way she subtly pulls away. It's all part of the unspoken language of desire. This is a love built not on the need for validation, but on a profound, often silent connection that's expressed in ways more primal than logical. A man who seeks constant affirmation will miss this deeper intimacy, for it's in the subtlety and silence that true affection is revealed. Here are 10 unmistakable signs that show she's not just interested, she's longing for you. Sign 1. She engages in prolonged eye contact. When a woman locks eyes with you and doesn't look away, it's not just a glance, it's a deliberate message. It's not simply about confidence or friendliness, it's calculated intimacy. When she holds your gaze for more than a few seconds, 5 seconds or more, with a softened face, relaxed jaw and slightly parted lips, she's communicating something far deeper. This isn't just looking. This is an invitation. Psychologists call it mutual gazing, and it's a tool that's been used for centuries to convey interest and attraction. It's a sign that she's not scanning you, but rather she's evaluating whether you notice her, whether you're tuned into her. And here's the key. When you break that gaze too soon, she notices. She's watching, observing how you respond. But when you hold that gaze with confidence, not arrogance, with calm assurance, it sends a powerful message that you are present, that you are fully aware of the connection between you. That tension, that unspoken moment, isn't an accident, it's emotional symmetry. And let me make this clear, a woman will rarely hold that kind of intensity with someone she doesn't secretly envision being closer to. This isn't a random occurrence. This is a clear sign that she's testing the waters. You don't just look back, you understand what she's risking by not looking away. As Marcus Aurelius once said, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. You've been given a chance to prove your worth, to show you're not afraid to embrace the challenge. Don't back down, don't look away. Instead, lean into it, own the moment. When you do, you're not just a passive observer, you become a part of the story she's trying to tell. This is your moment. Take control. Seize it. Understand that every glance, every held gaze is not just a fleeting second, it's an opportunity. The more you recognize this subtle yet powerful behavior, the more you'll understand the deeper signals that women are sending. Don't waste it. This is how you take charge of your destiny, both in love and life. Sign 2. She touches you lightly, even in casual situations. When she touches you lightly, even in the most casual situations, don't make the mistake of brushing it off as mere friendliness or thinking she's simply touchy with everyone around her. This is where most men fail to recognize the signs, and the attraction goes unnoticed. In reality, when a woman is interested in you, she tests you quietly, almost imperceptibly. It's not loud, nor is it intrusive. It's the small grazes, like her hand brushing your arm when you laugh, or her fingers subtly brushing against your jacket as she walks past. These touches are never forced, never a mistake, and most importantly, they are intentional. She's not just reaching out for physical contact, she's reaching for something deeper. In our modern world, where communication is often loud and direct, physical touch remains one of the few ways that still whispers, signaling intent and connection without saying a word. Now, you might be wondering why this matters or how to interpret it. Here's the thing. Many men overlook these gestures, failing to recognize them as a language of attraction. But the man who notices these subtle cues and responds appropriately, without overreacting or making things awkward, passes a test that most men unknowingly fail. This isn't about being overly attentive or obsessing over every little gesture. It's about understanding that these quiet touches are more than random acts. They are her way of testing your awareness and your ability to understand without needing an explanation. When she keeps finding ways to make contact with you, even when it's unnecessary or seemingly insignificant, she's not just being polite or friendly, she's reaching out to you in a way that most women rarely do, trying to see if you will respond to her unspoken request for more. Here's the key. Women don't always need reasons for these touches. They're not looking for permission in the traditional sense. What they need is something more subtle, something deeper. They are asking for more of your attention, your connection, without uttering a word. Subtle touch is the language they use to invite you into their world, to give you the chance to move beyond the surface and into something more meaningful. It's a way of asking for more without ever putting it into words. The mistake many men make is ignoring these touches, dismissing them as insignificant, or assuming they're just random gestures. But the truth is, if you ignore them, you risk losing the chance to build a deeper connection. The moment you recognize and acknowledge these touches, you'll realize that her fingertips are communicating things her mouth will never express. They carry meaning, desire, and an invitation to explore the possibility of a stronger bond. So, take a moment to pay attention to these subtle signals. It's not just about the physical touch itself. It's about understanding the intent behind it. It's about recognizing that her fingers grazing your skin are an invitation, a small but meaningful gesture of connection that could lead to something more profound. Don't miss this opportunity because you failed to notice something so simple. In today's world, where communication can often be lost in the noise of daily life, her touch is one of the few ways she can still communicate her interest without using words. And when you notice it, you'll find that the most powerful connections are often made in the quietest, most unspoken moments. So next time she reaches out to touch you in these subtle ways, don't hesitate. Recognize it, appreciate it, and let it open the door to something deeper. Comment to remember. Her touch speaks louder than words. Sign 3. She subtly tries to compete for your attention when others are around. In modern relationships, a woman who is drawn to you will often exhibit subtle but powerful signs of her interest, especially when there are others around. One of the key indicators is when she tries to compete for your attention when other people, especially other women, are present. You might initially mistake it for playfulness or a random change in energy, but if you observe closely, you'll realize that there's a distinct shift in how she behaves. The moment another woman enters the scene, her energy heightens. Her jokes become sharper, her posture straightens, and her presence intensifies in a way that is impossible to ignore. This isn't insecurity or an attempt to make you jealous. It's an instinctive response, a primal drive to assert her place in your attention. We don't always raise our voices in these situations. What we raise is our frequency, the subtle shifts in how we present ourselves that speak volumes without a single word. When a woman is interested in you, she instinctively pays attention to who else is watching you, and then subtly adjusts herself, her behavior, her posture, the way she speaks, not to steal the spotlight, but to quietly reaffirm her emotional investment in you. She doesn't need to beg or make overt demands. She simply signals that she is already deeply engaged. Her heightened energy, the way she suddenly becomes more animated, is not for the room to notice, but for you to feel. It's an unspoken confirmation of her emotional claim. She isn't competing for attention in a dramatic, obvious way. Instead, she's asserting her position in a quiet, almost elegant manner, signaling her interest without ever needing to say a word. This dynamic is a testament to how much women understand about the subtle art of attraction and human connection. In modern life, particularly for men navigating the complexities of relationships, it's essential to recognize that attraction doesn't always present itself in loud or dramatic gestures. The signs of interest can be much quieter, much more nuanced. The ability to detect these shifts in behavior can be a powerful tool in understanding how she feels about you. The Stoic philosophy, particularly the notion of maintaining composure and awareness in every moment, teaches us not to react to these shifts with insecurity or overcompensation. Instead, embrace the quiet dominance that such moments represent. Stoicism encourages us to observe without jumping to conclusions, to see things for what they are without over-interpreting them. When you notice these subtle signals, don't overreact or make assumptions. Rather, observe them with the cool detachment that Stoicism champions. This allows you to stay grounded, knowing that her shifts in behavior are simply her way of signaling her emotional engagement, not an attempt to create conflict or drama. This is where modern Stoic principles can enrich your understanding of human interaction. Instead of looking for overt signs or engaging in unnecessary games of competition, embrace a mindset of calm and clarity. When she subtly competes for your attention in the presence of others, recognize it as her way of indicating her emotional investment without being overt or needy. It's about power dynamics, but in the most refined, almost imperceptible ways. She is not seeking to dominate the room. She is subtly reaffirming her emotional connection to you. You, as a man who understands these dynamics, must navigate them with awareness and control. Don't chase the drama. Don't let it disturb your peace. Recognize these moments for what they are, and stay grounded in the values of Stoicism. Control your reactions, observe with clarity, and let the dynamics of attraction unfold naturally. You must learn not to respond impulsively to these shifts in energy. Instead, reflect and appreciate the depth of this silent communication. The key is to remain unaffected by the noise of competition or ego, recognizing that her actions are part of the natural dance of attraction, one that is marked by subtlety, not grand gestures. It's a skill that takes practice, but with the mindset of a modern Stoic, you'll understand that the real strength lies not in responding to every shift, but in maintaining your own equilibrium amidst the fluctuating energies around you. Keep your attention where it matters, and don't let the distractions pull you off course. In doing so, you'll not only understand her signals more clearly, but will also have a more profound connection based on respect, emotional investment, and quiet strength. Sign 4. She constantly makes excuses to be around you. When a woman begins constantly making excuses to be around you, it's not just a simple act of politeness or small talk. Don't fool yourself into thinking it's casual or unintentional. Her actions are deliberate and filled with intent. When she's emotionally drawn to you, her presence becomes purposeful. She's not just hanging around for no reason. She shows up without needing an excuse. She asks questions she already knows the answers to. Not because she's curious, but because she wants to keep the conversation going, to keep you engaged. She offers help when it isn't necessary, simply as a way to stay close to you. She lingers, drags out conversations, and creates delays, all with the intent of staying in your orbit just a little longer. This isn't about practical help. It's about emotional proximity. She's not asking for anything, not even your time in a traditional sense, because what she really craves is access to your world. We don't always express our feelings openly, but our actions can reveal more than words ever could. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." Her want isn't material, it's emotional. As a man, you must recognize this subtle communication. She's not wasting time, she's investing it in you. When you understand that her time with you is intentional, you can stop focusing on the words she says and start observing the patterns of her behavior. This is your signal. Understand the significance of her presence and stop brushing it off. Pay attention, and you'll see that every small gesture is a key to understanding her deeper desires. This is a chance for you to embrace Stoicism in your relationships, focusing not on what is said, but on the actions, the patterns, and the emotions being communicated. So ask yourself, Are you truly aware of the unspoken language she's using to connect with you? Drop a comment below and share your thoughts. Have you ever experienced a woman subtly pulling you in through her actions? Comment to remember. Her presence is her invitation, not her words. Sign 5. She remembers everything you say. When she remembers everything you say, it's not just a sign that she's a good listener. It's a powerful indication that she's deeply invested in you. Take a moment to truly recognize what's happening, because this is not just about good manners. It's emotional curation at its finest. Most people, especially in the fast-paced world we live in today, forget the small details of conversations, from the little habits you have to the trivial things you mentioned in passing. But when a woman takes the time to remember the brand of coffee you casually mentioned, the late meeting you were dreading, or even the name of your childhood dog, you can't chalk it up to coincidence or mere attentiveness. She remembers because it matters to her, and that's what makes it significant. She's storing those details in her mind, creating an emotional connection that goes beyond surface-level interactions. Think about it. Why would someone remember the name of your dog, or what kind of coffee you like, unless they were emotionally attached to you? In fact, this isn't just about retaining information. When a woman circles back to those small things, mentions them again, or subtly brings them up in future conversations, it's her way of claiming mental space in your life. She's not simply recalling your preferences, she's emotionally marking the territory of who you are in her heart and mind. She's not only listening to you, she's actively building mental real estate around you. This act of remembrance isn't a trivial or superficial gesture. It's the opposite. It's the work of someone who is emotionally invested, someone who sees you as more than just a fleeting acquaintance. Acquaintances forget because they don't prioritize the relationship. Women who are emotionally connected, however, collect these moments because they matter deeply to them. When she remembers the smallest, seemingly insignificant details about you and brings them back into your conversations, take it as a sign that she is not just a passive participant in your life. She's laying down roots for something more meaningful. And if you ever find yourself in a situation where she quotes you back to yourself, don't dismiss it. This isn't just her repeating your words. It's much more profound than that. When a woman quotes something you've said in a meaningful context, it's a clear sign that you've already taken up space in her heart and mind. She's not just echoing your thoughts, she's letting you know that your words have become part of her mental framework. You've made an impact, and she's not just hearing you, she's internalizing you. This act of quoting is a strong signal that she's not only emotionally invested, but also emotionally committed to you. You're no longer just a passing figure in her life. You've become a fixture in her thoughts, a part of her narrative. This is not something to take lightly. In a world where most people are consumed by their own lives, where it's easy to be distracted and forget the small things, when someone takes the time to remember the little details about you, it's a profound reflection of how much they care. When a woman makes an effort to remember your coffee order, your childhood pet's name, or the things that stress you out, she's telling you, without saying a word, that you matter to her in ways that others don't. It's an emotional investment that goes beyond simple affection or attraction. It's the first step in building a meaningful, lasting connection. So if you're a man who's been paying attention, recognize these moments for what they truly are. Don't brush them off as insignificant. They are, in fact, the building blocks of something far more substantial. When she remembers everything you say, she's not just listening, she's letting you know you've already found a place inside her, and that's a space you should never take for granted. Sign 6. She compliments you often. When a woman compliments you, it's more than just a casual observation. It's a deliberate reflection of her deeper attraction. Sure, she might comment on your new haircut, your shirt, or your shoes, and while it's nice, these are surface-level compliments that anyone could give. But when she starts to notice things like your rhythm, your perspective, and especially your restraint in a heated moment, that's not just talk. It's a sign she's observing the essence of who you are. These aren't random praises, they're confirmation of her selection process. She's not merely admiring your appearance, she's acknowledging your presence, your poise, your intellectual strength. Most men miss this because they mistake it for simple politeness. But here's the truth. She's reinforcing exactly what draws her in, your depth. She's not just flattering you, she's shaping you, subtly molding you without trying to change you. When she says, "I love the way your mind works," or "you have a calm energy," understand that this isn't empty praise. Its influence is wrapped in kindness. We naturally praise what we want to see more of in someone, and if it makes you stand taller, sit straighter, or walk with more confidence, realize that you're becoming the man she envisions. It's attractive in its purest form. You see, as Stoics, we know the power of focus, control, and restraint. We don't seek validation, we cultivate self-mastery, letting our actions speak louder than words. When she sees this in you, it ignites an undeniable draw. She's not just admiring you, she's subtly guiding you toward becoming more of the man she desires. This is what real attraction looks like. It's not about changing to fit someone else's vision, but enhancing the traits that already make you exceptional. Take note of her words. Recognize the influence behind them. What we do is what we are. This quote by Marcus Aurelius rings true. If you can hold yourself with dignity, control your emotions, and move through life with purpose, she will notice. Not just on the surface, but at the core. So men, remember, it's not about chasing compliments, but cultivating traits that make you irreplaceable. Live with purpose and let your actions speak volumes. Now go ahead and own your power. Share your thoughts in the comments and tell me what compliments have made you see yourself differently. If you found this insightful, comment below, and share it with someone who could benefit. Don't forget to subscribe for more wisdom. Comment to remember, attraction is rooted in your character, not just your appearance. Sign 7. She often gets nervous or fidgety when you're near. When a woman gets nervous or fidgety around you, don't jump to conclusions and assume it's a sign of disinterest. Too often, men misread this as rejection, but in reality, nervousness isn't a sign of avoidance, it's a sign of exposure. As humans, we like to control our presentation, to keep up the facade, especially when it comes to people we are drawn to. But when we are near someone who truly matters to us, the script we've carefully crafted falls apart. Suddenly, we're adjusting our hair mid-conversation, running our fingers over jewelry that usually goes unnoticed, or losing our words over the smallest things. This is not because we're uncertain of ourselves, but because your presence has unsettled the comfort zone we've built. And the more composed a woman usually is, the more telling the fidget becomes. Pay close attention to how she behaves when you're around. Watch her hands. Are they fidgeting or nervously adjusting something? Watch her breathing. Is it shallow or hurried? Notice how she might adjust her sleeves, smooth out a crease, or straighten her posture when it was already perfect. These are signs of tension she can't hide. It's not discomfort. It's attraction that she's trying to manage without appearing vulnerable. As Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Similarly, the best way to react to her nervousness is not to misunderstand it as awkwardness, but rather as a powerful indication that she is drawn to you, but is struggling to maintain control of her emotions. If a woman behaves in this way around you, it's not a sign that she doesn't care, but rather that your presence has sparked something inside her that she is trying to keep under wraps. So remember, nervousness is not rejection. It's simply the desire trying not to embarrass itself. If you recognize these signs, don't shy away. Acknowledge the tension with confidence and let her know you're aware of it. It's the natural dance of attraction. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever experienced this type of nervous energy? Share your stories in the comments below. Sign 8. She shares personal details. When a woman starts sharing personal details with you, don't mistake it for mere talk. This isn't casual chit-chat about the weather or work. No, what she's revealing is far deeper. Things that carry emotional weight. Family struggles, past heartbreaks, and childhood battles. It's not some random attempt to pass the time. This is calculated, measured trust. And let me be clear, trust like that is not something she hands out lightly. She's testing you, and testing you hard. You must understand that when she shares these intimate details, it's not for entertainment or to fill the space with words. She's evaluating how you hold her truth. Do you listen with respect, or do you interrupt with your opinions, judgments, or comparisons? She's observing how you handle the delicate nature of her emotions. That's the moment when she shifts from seeing you simply as a man to considering you someone she can trust with her vulnerabilities. If you've been granted the privilege of her deepest truths, it's because she feels safe with you. She's not throwing out personal stories to see how clever or witty you can be. She's looking for emotional safety. And let's be real, most people don't open the emotional vault unless they believe they're in a secure, trustworthy environment. If she's talking to you more deeply than anyone else, understand this. It's not just small talk, it's a significant emotional investment. You've become her exception, her emotional safe harbor. This is not something that happens by chance. You must prove that you are the man who will stand steady, unaffected by her past or her pain, someone who will offer her unwavering support instead of criticism. Your ability to be emotionally reliable, to be the man who listens with quiet strength, is what truly sets you apart. If she feels that from you, you'll see her trust in you grow deeper with every conversation. This is not the time to get distracted or to show weakness. This is the moment where your stoic nature must come to the fore, and you must provide what she needs most: stability and understanding. By doing this, you'll not only build a stronger bond, but you'll also solidify your role as someone truly indispensable to her emotional well-being. Sign 9. She acts to protect your time and space. When a woman starts to act protective of your time and space, it's crucial not to confuse this behavior with an attempt to control. It's easy to assume she's micromanaging or being overly attentive, or that she's trying to fit herself into a role you didn't assign her. However, this is not control. It's a genuine contribution. When a woman is truly invested in you, her concern doesn't stem from selfish motives. She doesn't simply crave your attention, she cares deeply about your well-being. She checks in to see if you've eaten, notices when you're overbooked, and reminds you to take that much-needed break you've been putting off. The beauty of this care is that it's subtle and doesn't demand a show of gratitude. It's not done to earn applause. It's done to help you maintain your rhythm, to support your life, even in the smallest, quietest ways. This type of care often flies under the radar, but it speaks volumes. It's not about playing a role or seeking recognition. It's about creating balance for you without needing any form of acknowledgement in return. When a woman does this, she isn't being motherly. She's attuned to your emotional bandwidth, adjusting her energy to protect it because she understands that your well-being is vital to your success and peace. This is protection without strings attached. It just shows up when needed, because you matter. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice." In this case, her protective nature isn't about control. It's about showing up with genuine care, quietly ensuring your life flows smoothly. This is true Stoicism, where actions speak louder than words, where care isn't flashy, but it's deeply felt. Recognize when someone acts in this way, they aren't just keeping you afloat, they're helping you navigate the turbulent waters of life with greater ease. So the next time she asks if you've had dinner or suggests you slow down, don't dismiss it. Appreciate it, because it's a sign she's deeply invested in your life. What do you think about the way she shows care in your life? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments section. Sign 10. She gives you subtle but intense smiles. When a woman gives you a smile, don't rush to file it under the category of just being friendly. Most men dismiss a smile as a simple, harmless gesture. But the truth is, some smiles carry much more weight. There's a reason scientists differentiate between fake smiles and real ones, because genuine attraction has a very distinct and biological effect. When someone is truly attracted, two specific muscles are activated: the zygomatic major, which pulls the corners of the mouth upwards, and the orbicularis oculi, which softens the eyes, and creates a certain warmth. This is no coincidence. It's chemistry in its purest form. It's not about politeness or social convention. It's something deeper. The kind of smile that comes from real attraction is different. It's a signal, not a social nicety. It's an unspoken message that says, I see you, I'm interested, and I'm offering you a glimpse of my feelings without needing to verbalize them. Now, pay attention. When you notice a smile like this, especially when it's followed by a quick glance down or when it lingers just a moment longer than expected, don't brush it off. This isn't about being overly polite or courteous. This is magnetism wrapped in subtlety. It's her way of sending a signal to you, a signal that doesn't need to be loud, brash, or even obvious. The smile that lingers is a calculated act, a clue carefully handed to you, but without words. This is the art of attraction without saying a single thing. The woman who offers this kind of smile is not doing it by accident. It's intentional, curated, and reserved for someone who has earned her attention. She is not sending this kind of energy out to just anyone. It's a private communication, meant only for a man who knows how to recognize it and appreciate it without rushing into a reaction. If you've ever been in a situation where a woman gives you one of these smiles, you know the kind of power it holds. It's a brief moment, but its impact can linger long after the smile fades. This isn't about being the loudest person in the room or making a grand gesture. True attraction doesn't demand a spotlight. It works in the quiet spaces, in the subtle glances and the quiet exchanges. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. In the same way, true attraction isn't about grand displays or constant attention. It's about the few, meaningful moments that carry true significance. Recognizing these moments and not rushing to fill them with unnecessary words or actions is key to understanding the deeper currents of attraction. So, what do you do when you notice that subtle smile, that brief moment where she gives you her attention? The first thing you should do is not interrupt it. Don't rush to act. Don't rush to speak. This is the moment where patience and clarity are your greatest assets. A smile like this, when it carries genuine attraction, doesn't need to be overanalyzed or dissected. It doesn't need to be responded to with immediate action or words. Let the moment breathe and recognize it for what it is. The woman who offers you this kind of smile is not looking for a reaction. She's simply offering you an invitation, a subtle invitation to connect and to see beyond the surface. You don't need to chase after it, and you don't need to force anything. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, the best revenge is to be unlike him, who performed the injustice. In this case, the best response to this subtle but intense smile is not to overthink it, not to chase it, but to let it be, to let it exist in its natural state without forcing it into something it isn't. Real attraction, when it's genuine, doesn't need constant validation or over-analysis. It can live in the quiet moments, in the spaces where actions and words fall away, leaving only the raw, unspoken connection between two people. So, what does this mean for you? Pay attention to the small details. Don't be quick to assume that every smile is just a smile. Understand that some smiles are signals, carefully curated moments that are meant for someone who knows how to notice and appreciate them. In these small, unspoken moments, the potential for a deeper connection lies. It's up to you to recognize it and respond with the same level of subtlety and awareness. Trust the chemistry when you see it. Don't force it, don't rush it. Let the connection unfold naturally. Have you ever experienced a moment like this? A smile that seemed to speak volumes without a word being said? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you've interpreted these subtle signals in your own life. Alright guys, that's a wrap on today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you found these insights helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more practical wisdom. Now, before you go, let's take a moment to reflect. When someone truly cares for you, they don't just demand your attention, they protect your time and your energy. Remember, when a woman shows subtle signs of looking out for your well-being, It's not about control. It's her way of supporting your rhythm and helping you stay balanced in this chaotic world. Don't take that care for granted. Recognize it, appreciate it, and don't be afraid to return the favor. Stoicism teaches us that our actions should reflect our values, and this type of quiet care is a perfect example of putting those values into practice. So, take a moment today to recognize those who show up for you in this way. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What's been your experience with this kind of quiet care? Drop a comment below and let's keep the conversation going. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.